Alright, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Ultimate Dirt TV. Tonight, the Dirt League's Australia Midget Speedweek kicks off night number 1. Over the next 5 nights, it's going to be a grueling contest to see who will be crowned the Dirt League's Australia Midget Speedweek champion. Brett Wheeler in the booth here this evening as we get set for qualifying in just a few moments' time. But of course, we want to welcome you to Ultimate Dirt TV on Facebook, YouTube and Twitch. We are across all 3 platforms this evening, as tonight, as I said, marks night number 1 of the series as it gets set, as we are just about to advance it into qualifying. Then we'll have 4 heat races on the program. Yes, you heard that right. 4 heat races, and we are going to have, we've got 50 cars that are signed into the pit area tonight, so it is a full field. We are going to have a lot of heat races tonight. So we are just waiting on qualifying right now. A big good evening and welcome to everybody on the Facebook side of things, and of course on the Twitch and YouTube side of things as well. Qualifying underway. We'll try and get as many cars as we can. Of course, this qualifying session over 5 minutes, so we'll try and get as many cars as we can as they come across the start finish line. Some drivers, we're going to wait for the first time to come in. Jake Maloney going to be one of those first drivers with a 19.930. Jock Goodyear at the moment going quick time with a 19.820. Trent Gosley jumps to position 2. Jordan McDonnell, Harry Edwards, and now the names and the times start to come in right now as we watch Trent Gosley on screen in that number 4 machine. Ben Morrison in the 97 now, jumping to position 2. In fact, gets shuffled back to position 3. Mitchell G in car number 21 with a 19.761. Oh, and we are going to be joined in the booth here in just a few moments' time. Joel Berkeley has laid down a lap time of a 19.678. David Harleman on the racetrack in car number 32, sitting 10th quick at the moment. We'll see if we can improve on that time and get shuffled back to 11th as Bruce Smith with a 19.918. As we are now going to welcome in the man behind, one of the men behind the reasoning of this speed week, David Sanford. Welcome into the Ultimate Dirt TV booth. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Hey mate, cheers. Yeah, no, it's been a lot of work in progress from especially Zach and Jordan. I'm just bankrolling it a little bit, but yeah, they've put so much effort into making everything happen, and I'm in the admin chat and they go hard all day every day. And I had to say, like, hey guys, take it easy. Like, don't put all, what do you call it, all your coins in a hat. So per se, they're like, hey, we're just brainstorming ideas. So they've got really cool things planned too.
Or another one, don't put all your eggs in one basket as well.
Yeah, that's the saying I was going for. Cheers.
Alright, so we've just got a couple of cars left to lay down a lap time, and I tell you what, for one of the guys behind the scenes that have helped put this on, it must be pleasing to see the server fill up fairly quickly. Of course, we were scheduled to go live in about 10 or 11 minutes time, but since the server has filled up and there's going to be plenty of racing on this racetrack, it's going to get slick throughout the night. We have advanced it 15 minutes ahead of scheduled time, and 50 cars in the midgets. We only take the top 24. Half of them are going home, and there is a lot of good cars here tonight.
Yeah, it's I came in at about 5 minutes after the session had opened and it said full, and I was saying the boys Brayton and Harry, hey, I can't even join, it's full. So I missed the night pretty much. I took my wheel off my rig and stuff because I've had trouble setting that up, and it's going to be awesome. Some of the best drivers in down under are here, and we've got some very good teams and good racing, and the track's slicking off already, and it's only practice, so it's going to be pretty treacherous later on.
Alright, so looking at your top 10 in qualifying, you see on the left-hand side of the screen. Right now, Joel Berkeley sits position 1, Jock Goodyear 2nd, Mitchell G 3rd, Ben Morrison 4th, Zachary Phelan 5th, Trent Gosley, Alan Tacken, Harry Edwards, Aaron Kelly and Bruce Smith. Rounding out the top 10, there are still a bunch of names that are sort of outside of this top 10. The likes of David Heileman, maybe Jake Maloney, Aaron Humble, Jordan McDonnell, Cam Taylor, Brett Jr. Morris. I mean, the list just goes on. Brayton Davison as well. As it's just it's mind-boggling right now to see, you know, officially 49 cars take a lap time, and you've got the, you know, the likes of those guys that I just mentioned who are sitting outside of the top 10. We've got 4 heat races this evening. And they're 12 and 13 car heat races, so it's going to be a stacked field. The top 5 go through. It's going to be cutthroat from the get-go.
It's pretty vital to secure a clean heat race, especially off the start. As you know, in heat racing, it's elbows up. If you get fed a wheel, that's you done. If you half spin, you're done. So as long as you can keep clean, and those front guys should run away with it, depending on invert and things like that. But yeah, look, it's going to be very cutthroat, and a few guys there'll be definitely tears tonight, I think.
Let's hope that we are going to get too many tears from some of the drivers. Let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid for heat race number 1. Starting on pole, tonight's fastest qualified, the 9 of Joel Berkeley. He lines up alongside the 49 of Zachary Phelan. Starting position 3 in caliber 18, Aaron Kelly. He lines up alongside the 10 of Murray Howe. Corey Bankston will line up in caliber 88 out of position 5 and to his outside. Ben McSweeney in the 19 from position 6. The back half of the field, position 7, the 224 of Sean O'Hara. He lines up alongside the 48 of Aaron Hodgson. Vince Romeo in the 077 lines up position 9. Nick Tuller in the 23 starts position 10. You go back to Mick Wilson in position 11 in car 152 alongside the 97 of Danny Vassell out of position number 12. And Robert Northway in caliber 45 rounds out this 13 car field. Yes, you heard that right, folks. 13 cars in heat race number 1. Sanford, I'll go to you. Predictions, who picks up the win here in heat race number 1?
It's got to be the number 9, Joel Berkeley. He's going to run away with it. He's got some serious pace in the midgets. He's got serious pace in nearly every dirt car he drives. Yeah, Joel's going to run away. I don't know. The OPR boys are always pretty good, and Murray Howe's been on song for NZSR lately. But you know, it's a heat race, mate. Everyone's pretty elbows up, so we'll see.
All right, here we go. 10 laps the distance in heat race number 1 as they roll past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Yes, we are in the sprint car capital of the world, the Knoxville Raceway, for night number 1 of the Dirt League's Australia Midget Speedweek, as we get set for the opening heat. Berkeley alongside Zachary Phelan. And I tell you what, it's nice to see that the Ford Mustang iRacing pace car is out on the racetrack and not the pace truck, so a little different here this evening.
Green flag.
Green flag is out and we're underway. Heat race number 1. Berkeley and Phelan, they lead the field down into turns number 1 and 2. Berkeley going to throw that slide job immediately straight into turns 1 and 2. He grabs the cushion halfway through that turn and he starts to roll away with this side now, but Zachary Phelan will try and fight back up on the inside. Now it is a scrap behind him right now, going on for the minor placings.
Oh, that's ugly into 1 and 2. Jamie Stovald's flipped it. He's gotten into the back of someone there. I didn't quite see, but the fielder's going to start run away. We've got Bailey Clive, actually. He's back into 5th spot after he got in a mess off the line, so that's really good for him to get back through. He seriously had a very good run off the exit of 2 in lap 1 to get back there, and there was a bit of carnage already, as I said. It's elbows up, really, but as you can see, Joel Berkeley's just a class above the rest with Zach Phelan in hot pursuit. Zach Phelan and Joel obviously showing pretty different lines, and Zach looks to be using that slider line to get some pace, and it actually looks like it's working, Brett.
Yeah, I tell you what, I was in a little practice session earlier on, and that certainly was the way to go when the track started to get like this, was using that slider line. But I mean, hey, I'm no good in these midgets, but I managed to pick up a win somehow. Third place, Aaron Kelly in the 18. He's got Murray Howe behind him in the 10, and Ben McSweeney rounds out that top 5. And of course, the top 5 goes straight through to the main event. The rest of the drivers, well, depending on where they finish, go into the B or C, where it is going to be cutthroat just to make that show. This 24-car field in tonight's main event. Of course, we go back up towards the front. Berkeley in the 9 machine. 5 down, 5 to go this time by, and he's still turning lap times in the 19 seconds. So that number 9 machine is fairly hooked up, although he's got a lap car in front of him. As the lap car will go down low and Berkeley goes to the outside. That's Mick Wilson in the 152. So Wilson letting the leaders, or the leader, on by. Now it's Zach Phelanstone. He's gone to the top side in turns 3 and 4.
Yeah, and if you look back in 3rd and 4th position, Murray Howes, you can tell he's just cruising. He just wants to get to that feature. That's what he likes to do. He's not here to bin it. He's not here to chuck his car where it shouldn't be, and he's always a consistent driver. I should correct myself before. I said Bailey Clive, but they run the exact same cars with Royce Clive on the side, so that has been McSweeney, my bad. But yeah, look, this seems to be how the heat's panning out. It's all very spread, especially if you're getting lapped in a heat.
All right, looking at 3 laps to go, so 1.5 miles to go for Berkeley, Phelan, Kelly, Howe, and also Ben McSweeney in the 19. As I said, the top 5 go on. There's a fair bit of a distance back to 6th place. You're looking at about nearly 4 seconds. In fact, 3.7 between McSweeney and Vince Romeo. You can see Romeo on screen in that 0.77. He's quite some way back. We've already got a couple of cars on pit road, so that's not how they wanted their night to start out. But down the back straight away, in fact, into 3 and 4 already. And the white flag going to come out one more time around the racetrack for Joel Berkeley. He's just too good at the moment here on the opening heat race of the night. Going to use that slide job line, as does Zachary Phelan. So Phelan maybe just trying to run the same line and keep it off the wall, because, well, you've only got 2 more turns and you've made it into the show.
Very good winners. Joel Berkeley comes down and crosses the line with Zachary Phelan in 2nd. We've got Aaron Kelly and Ben McSweeney. Murray Howe, who will get it? Murray Howe gets there in 4th, with Ben McSweeney in 5th and Vince Romeo in 6th place. He will be off the start of the B main right at the front.
All right, so well done to your top 5. Danny Vasselholm in 7th. Robert Northway, Mick Wilson, Sean O'Hara, Aaron Hodgson, Nick Teller, and Corey Bankston. Your 13 cars in heat race number 1. Of course, a big welcome to everyone. Of course, we are live across the 3 platforms tonight. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So make sure you like us, follow us, subscribe to us on wherever you're watching. Share it out and let everyone know that you're going to watch some good racing. Let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid for heat race number 2.
Off the front row on the inside, P1 is 39 Jock Goodyear. Number 4 in P2 is Trent Gosley. Number 50 in P3 is Bruce Smith, with P4 is 34 Matthew Gearing. Cam J. Taylor starts the 3rd row, and the number 6 with the 77 Daniel Hardigan off 6. Cody O'Connell in the number 51 car goes P7, with Matt Reed outside of him, finishing out the 4th row in the 66 car in P8. Number 20, Ryan Furler, and number 9 in P9, sorry, with 33, Carl Hoffman's off 10. Gavin Sadler and Nathan Clive finish out the 6th row. And James Robbie finishes out the grid, not setting a time in qualifying. So it'll be interesting if he takes the grid at all.
Well, I can tell you he is on the grid at the moment. The gutter rat, as I call him, he loves to run the bottom side. He doesn't feel comfortable running the cushion. So Robbie the Rat, we're going to call him, but we'll throw in gutter rat just because he loves to run the bottom. In fact, yeah, as you said, he was the only car not to put down a time in qualifying. Maybe it's just so hardware issues, didn't get into the server in time. Might have been doing something else, having dinner, or just could have been a whole number of things. So it's going to be hard work for that 41 machine, but I guarantee it'll be hooked up on the bottom side and watch him to make his way forward in this one.
Yeah, he's a quality driver. I've driven with him in ASL, and he's always given me good, clean racing. So I'd actually pick him to even make his way through. This heat is not as even slightly as strong as the last heat that we've just seen, but there are some quality drivers in Jock Goodyear and Trent Gosling up the front. But I'm picking James Robbie to pick his way through with Gavin Sadler there. Even Sadler's not bad at all either.
I'll tell you one man that might be kicking himself at the moment. Bruce Smith failed to grid after scheduled to start position 3. Had a good chance to lock himself into tonight's show, but of course that's now going to move Cam Taylor in the 6th. I think Jock's going to be too good in this one, but keep an eye on Cam Taylor getting set to go green flag racing. Heat number 2, night number 1 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Midget Speed Week at Kokomo. Green flag halfway down the straightaway, a very late green being thrown by race control, and well, heat number 2 is underway, and they already go 2 and 3 wide with Goodyear with the lead down the back straightaway. Gosley, Taylor. Then you go back to Matty Gearing in that 34 machine, working to the top side. Look at the 77 of Daniel Hardigan work the outside. 3 wide off a turn 4.
Gavin Sadler's gone around. That's his heat done. He's going to be through the alphabet tonight. But as I said, look at James Robbie. He's 2 places off that transfer spot. He's passed 5 cars in 1 lap. So he's always a pretty quick driver. There's another big crash. James needs to stay out of that. And he's into the transfer spot already. It's taken him 2
laps to come from 13th to position 5. The 41, and he's doing it on the top side of the racetrack as well. That's the 41, the TRD Gavin Sadler Racing entry on screen at the moment. He's now got 3 cars in front of him, all battling for positions 2, 3, and 4 on the racetrack. Gosling holds on to 2nd, 3rd, Cam Taylor to go to Daniel Hardigan. Here comes James Robbie up the inside of Hardigan to make the pass for 4th, but Hardigan going to put that car back to the outside and make it work. There was almost contact down the back straightaway. Robbie back to position number 5.
James Robbie's doing a seriously good job here to be able to get through the pack and then be on the back of the number 5 in a heat race in 3 laps straight and put pressure on this guy that's clearly... James is a very good driver, and this is a seriously impressive drive. Looking back in the field, though, we've got Nathan Clive as well too, who's actually done quite well. He was off the 2nd to last row, Brett, and he's up into 6th. So that's actually good for the B main if he wants to sit there or anything and try and hold off this man behind him, and Cody O'Connell.
Yeah, that is your battle for 6th and 7th on screen, but we go back towards James Robbie, Daniel Hardigan continuing to go side by side through turns 3 and 4. 3/4 of the way up the racetrack is James Robbie. Oh, Clive upside down.
Looking back, Cody O'Connell has absolutely sent Nathan Clive into the wall, and iRacing does its beautiful thing where it sends them weirdly with physics, and that's really unfortunate for Nathan Clive. He'll have to go through the alphabet with Gavin Sadler by the looks of it.
Well, thankfully, the alphabet simply run is a C and B main. It's not like we could be in an E main. With 50 cars, there's every chance that, had it been, set up, they could have had a chance to run the E main. 2.5 to go. James Robbie has moved his way to position 4. He now has got his eyes on the tail tank of that pink number 6 of Cam Taylor, who holds down 3rd spot. Robbie going to go right through the middle. Look to pick up 2 for 1 on the bottom side of the racetrack. The gutter rat, James Robbie, down low into 1 and 2. 2 to go. He's now looking and challenging for 2nd as Gosley works way back around the outside, down the back straightaway. Gosley back to P2 with James Robbie to P3, but only momentarily, because here's a synchronized slide jobs from Daniel Hardigan and James Robbie.
Oh, that was a close finish once again. That was a very good end to the race. And
1 to go.
Oh, it is 1 to go. Sorry, mate. And we've got James Robbie and Trent Gosling. James Robbie's actually made it stick this time through 1 and 2, and he'll actually keep that position. Trent Gosling doesn't have the pace while he's about to get railed around, but no, that'll be your finishing order. We go Jock.
Yep, Jock good. Yeah, you were there. He won by that. He won by that much. 2.7 seconds. He was almost in his own race by the time that one finished.
My iRacing had screwed out and I couldn't see the results or anything. Yeah, Jock Goodyear finishes 1st in that one, with James Robbie coming home in 2nd, Trent Gosling in 3rd, with Daniel Hardigan in 4th. Cody O'Connell rounds out your top 5, who gets the instant transfer into the feature. Gavin Sadler makes his way back to the front row of the B main in P6. Ryan Furler, Matt Reed, Bruce Smith trailing behind.
All right, let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid for heat number 3. Starting on the pole of the third heat race of the night in car number 21, it's Mitchell G into his outside in car number 41, Alan Tacken. Starting position 3 in car number 32, David Heilemann. He lines up alongside the 46 of Aaron Humble. Starting position 5, the 40 of Brett Jr. Morris into his outside, the 91 of Jared Steen out of position 6. Position 7, the 17 of Jacob Childs. He lines up alongside the 81 of Joshua Walton. Clint Smith in the 67 starts position 9. Position 10, the 44 of Bailey Clive. Mark Reardon in the 0011 and Damien Butler. Car number 8 starts position number 12. Geez, Sam David, with surely Heilemann has got to be one of the odds-on favourite in this one.
Yeah, look, this is a pretty good heat as well. Alan Tacken is pretty good. Mitchell G's done very well to get to the front row. Mate, Brett Jr. Morris and Aaron Humble in that 4th and 5th position. If you've ever watched Western Springs Speedway highlights, you will know Brett Jr. Morris loves to throw a slider or 5. So expect a few coming through, especially from those NZSR boys. This is a very good heat. Bailey Clive, unfortunately, has had a very, very bad qualifying by the looks. But again, he's one guy that you can watch. The same in the last heat, like James Robbie. He's a guy you can watch to come through the field.
All right, so here we go. Heat race number 3, the penultimate heat of the night. Night number 1 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Speed Week. Of course, 5 nights of racing over the next 5 nights. And tell you what, it's going to be a grueling 5 nights. Who becomes champion? I'm sure we'll find out Friday evening, as there's every chance that we may just have a different winner every night with the amount of cars and the amount of stars and cars that tune into the pits every night. 10 laps on the board. Mitchell G, Alan Tacken. I done some laps early with Alan, and
green flag.
In fact, I give him a set to run, so it's nice to see the 41. We'll start on the outside, and they already go 3 wide down into turns 1 and 2. Tacken on the outside, Heilemann down low. You got the 40 of Brett Jr. Morris there as well. He gets shuffled back to position 4 for the meantime, but here comes Heilemann on the inside in the 32 machine.
Yeah, look, Brett's already made his way into 3rd position in just 1 lap. This is what I mean. He's absolutely on rails, and he will come into 2nd here, exiting the corner there. So if we look back through the field, though, Aaron Humble's got a nice little run, and Bailey Clive's actually made his way through the field as he goes low with a bit of rubbish up on the top, and he comes through. He has just passed 4 cars in 1 corner.
If you're talking about the 44 of Bailey Clive, I was watching him pretty much from the start. He's just got that bottom side locked down. He sits in position 5, but of course, he's got Jared Steen working the outside of the racetrack. And then you go back to Clint Smith, and then also Alan Tacken as well. Humble into position 3. Heilemann 2nd. Your race leader is Brett Jr. Morris. Not sure what happened to Mitchell G. Maybe he's lagged out or something. He crashed, but well, Brett Jr. Morris has the race lead by 2/10 over David Heilemann. You go back to 3rd. Here's a slider from Clive on Humble, and Humble quickly turns it underneath. And this is what you want to see midget racing at its finest.
Yeah, Mitchell G was just seen in the background there. He's tapped the wall and he's towed. He's back in the pits now. But if we go back to the front, Brett Jr. Morris has taken the lead, and he looks to be running away with it a little bit with David Heilemann in the background. And Bailey Clive's done a seriously good job. James Robbie's spec from last race, and he's having a very good race with Aaron Humble, old Humbucks over there. He's told me to say that. I have to call them Humbucks, but they're having a seriously good run. This is awesome racing already, and the track's perfect. It's not treacherous.
That track is in mint condition. Right now we're watching Aaron Humble in the 46 on the top side of the racetrack. Of course, Bailey Clive in the 44 continues to work low. Down into turn number 1 and 2. Then behind them, the 91 of Jared Steen holds on to that 5th and final transfer spot. Joshua Walton, Clint Smith battling for 6 and 7. You just can't take my eyes off between Bailey Clive and Aaron Humble, and also Jared Steen. A great 3-car battle. I thought Heilemann was a little bit closer than what I thought just then, so I had to go back towards the front, but he's still about 4 or 5 car lengths off. But man, this battle between Clive and Humble, it's pretty much since the start of the heat race when they got side by side. It's been like that since the start. Here comes a big time slider from Bailey Clive.
Bailey Clive starts to throw it right up the inside, and he crosses over the apex. He's trying to break Aaron Humble's momentum here, which is the point of a slide job for any of those new to dirt. And Aaron Humble tries to throw it straight back, and he's made it stick just, but they're going neck and neck down the back straight. Look at that. Bailey Clive should throw another one unless he sticks to the bottom. He probably didn't like that run off the exit of 4 in the last lap. So he's into the inside berm, and that'll ruin his run.
Yeah, back to the lead right now. Oh, Morris and Heilemann. There was a little contact as they've thrown some Hail Mary sliders for the last couple of laps. Heilemann shut the door on Morris. He went for the big slider, but Heilemann, quickly aware of the fact that he was going to just lick the stamp and send it. He's going to try a postman Pat, a.k.a. David Sanford on that one. David Heilemann with the win. Morris second. Humble third. Clive fourth. Jared Steen fifth. Smith, Walton, Reardon, Childs, Tacken, Butler, and G. This racetrack is perfect.
Yeah, that's a very good win by Heilemann to reel in Brett Junior Morris, because Brett Junior Morris had some serious pace in that mid sector. So David Heilemann's done well to win from third place start. Moving on to the next heat.
All right, let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid for the final heat of the night.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, lining up on the front row, we've got Med Morrison on 1 and Harry Edwards on 2. Behind them in the second row, Jake Maloney and Jordan McDowell on 3 and 4, respectively. Milton Curtis and Brayton Davison in 5 and 6, with Cody Lawrence and Daniel Gow on 7 and 8. Luke Sayer and Caden Brown, the Aussie national champ in real life midgets, ladies and gentlemen, in 9 and 10. Sean Wilson and Dwayne Priest rounding out the grid in 11 and 12. And as we roll around, I'm picking a Jordan McDonnell, very, very good heat. Now that number 7 OPR car is an absolute bullet. If anyone is new to the iRacing dirt sector, he's been around for a very long time, and he can bang with the best. And this is probably the best heat we've had all night. Ben Morrison and Harry Edwards up the front. They are some of Oceania's best midget drivers, especially Ben Morrison, Brayton Davison, Caden Brown. As I said before, is the Aussie national title holder in real life midgets. It's a very good heat, so you guys should enjoy this. I'm picking a Brayton Davison. He'll move through into that top 5 spots, starting 6th, and through the rest of the grid. It would be interesting to see what happens.
Oh, the final heat race of the night. There's a lot of talent in this one, and a lot of young talent as well too. Tell you what, why don't you do the honours of leading heat 4?
Awesome, Brett. As we come round for the final time on the pace laps, we're going green this time by, with Ben Morrison leading the field. And it's green flag on the speedway. Ben Morrison gets a very good start on the inside, with Harry Edwards going straight to the top. Jordan McDonnell's closed the door just a little bit on the entry of 3. But he gets through, and he's had a very good run on the inside. He's into 3rd position, and he's going to slide up in front of Harry Edwards. He goes with the leader and Ben Morrison. Oh, and there's a huge crash in the background, Brett.
Yeah, just sort of caught the end of that. Daniel Gow in the 22. As meanwhile, McDonnell tries to throw a slider on Morrison. Morrison having none of that right now. Edwards to position 3. Battle on for 4th. Maloney around the outside of Milton Curtis right now. So Curtis in the 28 running right through the middle. Also going to keep an eye on Brayton Davison in the 24. He's 1 spot out. Oh no, Maloney rode the left rear and he goes upside down. Put Brayton Davison into the 5th and final transfer spot.
Yeah, it's very lucky for Brayton Davison that he didn't collect Jake Maloney any harder, and that's so unfortunate for Jake Maloney. He's a seriously good dirt driver though, so expect him to come through the alphabet. But and there was some more guys that were trying to dodge him on the entry of 1 that biked the cushion. Now, when you get out of the gas in these cars on the cushion, it does bike. It throws you straight into the wall because the car completely unloads and it does not like it. So Brayton Davison's counting his lucky stars. He's trying to run the low line, but honestly, Brett, I think the top... And Harry Edwards is gone while I'm saying that. Good night, Harry. He's kept going. He'll have a damaged... He'll have a damaged black for sure, though, Brett.
That was... And we sort of caught that just behind the the two race leaders there. That was a wild flip for Harry Edwards and something that he'd be absolutely PI55ED about. Meanwhile, Morrison still hangs on to this race lead. McDonnell, he hasn't gone away from that that challenge for the race lead. He's trying a few slide job attempts, but Morrison, he obviously Morrison and McDonnell, as you said, you know, certainly the two best midget drivers that New Zealand's got to offer, even, you know, Oceania right now, as there's a slider from McDonnell. Morrison going to turn it back underneath. Tell you what, Morrison, he's not afraid to run the cushion. He ran a sprint car earlier today, and let me tell you, he tried to knock the wall down at Lanier, as he's now going to retake the lead down the back straight away.
Yeah, Ben Morrison builds his sets around the idea of absolutely railing the cush. So as you can see, he loves to get super close to the wall. He drives it on rails, and he takes the what do you call it? He takes the lollies or whatever when he does get it right, and he's obviously getting it right now in this fight with Jordan McDonnell. As we look through the field, however, Brayton Davison's actually taken that place off Milton Curtis just before, with Caden Brown rounding out your top five. Harry Edwards is in 7th. He's somehow kept going after his huge tumble, and Luke Sayer just in front of them.
In fact, Caden Brown and Luke Sayer having their own little bit of a battle here for that 5th and final transfer spot, as Sayer going to put a slider on Brown. Brown going to try and fight back underneath down the back straightaway. There's only 1.5 to go. They're going to come off at turn number 4. They'll see the white flag. Ben Morrison, slider from McDonnell. Nearly contact in turns 1 and 2. Right in front of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. Morrison going to be quite aware of the fact that McDonnell may throw that big slider to try and take the race lead. Ben Morrison gets the win. We're going to go back and look at this battle for the 5th and final transfer spot. Sayer and Brown side by side through turns 3 and 4. Brown slides up. Sayer turns it underneath him. A drag race to the line. Wow, what a race. Davison gets 3rd. Curtis gets 4th. And Luke Sayer gets that 5th and final transfer spot. Action aplenty here at the Knoxville Raceway.
Yeah, that was a very good finish to the race. Caden Brown just overcooked it on the slider a little bit, and it was also, as we hear, a good thanks for saying nice racing. It was also a good move for Sayer to crisscross. As soon as he went outside, Luke Sayer would actually crisscross and diamond that corner and came straight off the inside of that turn 4, and he had so much pace on Caden when Caden overcooked the slide job. It was a really good move.
All right, let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid for tonight's C-Main. Starting on pole, he had a good qualifying time. However, he missed his heat race, and now he starts on pole tonight's C-Main. In car number 50, it is Bruce Smith. To the outside, in car number 17, Jacob Childs. Inside row 2, the 29 of Jake Maloney lines up alongside the 224 of Sean O'Hara. Position 5, the 6 of Cam Taylor. At a position 6, the 41 of Alan Tacken. Cody Lawrence in the 55 starts position 7. Mitchell G will move up to position number 8 in car 21. Position 9, the 3 of Nathan Clive. Alongside him, the 48 of Aaron Hodgson. Dwan Precy will start 11th in the 777, starting position 12. In car number 8, Damien Butler. Carl Hoffman's in the 33, starts position 13. At a position 14, the 23 of Nick Tuller. And then Daniel Gow and Matt Gearing rounds out this 16-car field. Top 4 advances. Still some heavy hitters. I feel like we're going to get heavy hitters in every race over the next 5 nights.
Yeah, this is seriously going to be an awesome week, and I'm so stoked to be sponsoring it. Obviously, there's some serious prize money. Tonight's winner gets $20, as well as every single other night of the 5 nights. And then there's prizes, there's cash prizes for the top 3 runners as well. So it's going to be seriously cool. As we roll around for the final time on the pace laps, I'm picking Aaron Hodgson to come through into the C-Main and get that top 4, honestly, as we go green on the Speedway, with Bruce Smith getting an excellent run off the start. The TTL driver of Jake Maloney coming up, and there's a bit messy in the back. Jake Maloney's already found himself in 2nd. If he can stay there, he'll secure his top 4 spot.
Yeah, but there's still another 9.5 laps to go. Very busy right now to round out the top 5. We've got Jacob Childs in the 17 around. And now look at Alan Tacken behind a 3-way battle right now. Another car upside down. And oh, look, there is just an absolute scramble-a-thon right now in the middle of turns 1 and 2, tacking around. Cam Taylor holding down that fourth and final transfer spot. Got Nathan Clive, Aaron Hodgson, and Mitchell G behind him as well. There's a lot of good cars that are outside this top 4, but your top 4 belong to Bruce Smith, Jake Maloney, who just went upside down and hold their forward. Cam Taylor now to position 2, Nathan Clive 3rd. Sorry, Aaron Hodgson 3rd and Nathan Clive 4th. Make that Mitchell G now 4th.
Yeah, Mitchell G's just thrown a pretty good slide job on Nathan Clive as he drops heavily out of that top 4. He was actually looking very racy with Aaron Hodgson just before, as Aaron Hodgson starts to work the bottom again, and that's really unfortunate for Bailey Clive's brother here. So Mitchell G's made his way through the field and he's into 4th with Bruce Smith leading the way here. Cam J. Taylor, Aaron Hodgson, Carl Hoffman's behind, before mentioned Mitchell G, Nathan Clive, Matthew Gearing, sort of rounding out the field, and Nick Tuller a fair way behind, and everyone else seems to have quit, Brett.
So we've already lost about half the field in the C main due to some contact, but I tell you what, it's nice to see that, you know, the last heat race we've seen the guys work the top side, we're seeing guys work the bottom side of the racetrack well, so it just gives you an indication on how racy this track really is right now. 3 wide for the race lead, if you don't mind. Smith on the top side, Taylor through the middle, and here comes Hodgson in the 48 on the bottom side of the racetrack. Does he throw the slider? He does on Cam Taylor, slides up. Smith is gone, not sure where he's gone, but hopefully he comes back out in a safe spot. Hodgson now to the race lead, picked up 2 for 1. We've got 4 to go.
Interrupting, Bruce Smith has been removed from the service, so we might have to go for a replay nearly. I think he might have taken out Jake Maloney, and that was the reason for him being upside down. But anyway, it's resulted in Aaron Hodgson leading the B main from grid 12. As I said earlier in the race, he's a serious wheelman, but he loves to go elbows up. So, and that sometimes, as you know, in iRacing results in a few 4Xs and a few tumbles. That actually moves Nathan Clive up to 5th. So he's made his way back into 1 spot off that transfer, and he's right behind the transfer spot of Carl Hoffman's, who's holding it down.
In fact, in 1 and 2 on the previous lap, he actually put a slider on, but he caught the cushion and it shot the rear end up on that number 3 machine, and he lost a whole ton of ground. Now Matt Gearing's put his own slider on Nathan Clive, so there's your battle for 5 and 6 on screen as we watch Carl Hoffman's work around the outside of Nick Tuller in that 23 machine. We go back towards the front of the field. It's still Hodgson. He's got 1 lap to go, in fact 2 turns, as he motors down the back straight away for the final time in tonight's C main. 4 drivers going to continue on and continue their run in the Speedweek night number 1. That's going to be Aaron Hodgson getting the win. 2nd going to go to Cam Taylor. Mitchell G home in 3rd, and Carl Hoffman is going to be that 4th and final car that will make the show. Everybody, pack up your stuff, go home, and try again tomorrow night.
Yeah, that was a seriously good drive from Aaron Hodgson. He's got a few more heavy hitters in front of him, but nothing he can't reel up. Now, we've also got Harry Edwards starting out of grid 12. I would pick him to jump into that top 4. I believe he's the fastest in this race with Aaron Hodgson. Vince Romeo, obviously, again, very good iRacer, nearing the 6,000 iRating mark. So it's going to be a tough little battle for these guys to get through, but I believe they can do it, those two. Though I will pick Harry Edwards or Aaron Hodgson coming through the field.
I don't know what kind of 6,000 iRating they got, but I can tell you that's not correct. It might be on the pavement side of things.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Romeo's got a 2,311.
Oh, what the hell? Who the hell has 6,000?
No one in this race at the moment. Anyhow, let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid. Your front row for tonight's 20-lap B main is going to be Vince Romeo alongside Caden Brown, Clint Smith alongside Ryan Furler, Danny Vassell alongside Sean Wilson, Joshua Walton alongside Matthew Reed, Robert Northway alongside. That's going to move Aaron Hodgson up about 2 rows. We got Matt Reed alongside Mitchell G, Cam Taylor, Carl Hoffman's. 3 drivers not making the grid for tonight's B main. They are Gavin Sadler, Harry Edwards, and Mick Wilson. So it's take 3 out of this scheduled 17 car field, so 14 in this one, and 4 will advance. Here we go. 20 laps on the board for tonight's B main. Pretty much a prelude to what we're going to see. Only probably times it by about 50.
Yeah, this is going to be an awesome race as Vince Romeo and Gavin Sadler roll around at the front once more. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Vince Romeo. That was a pretty good start coming off the line as we go into the outside, and as usual it's always quite messy. Aaron Hodgson's making his way through the middle of the field. Mark Raudine, he's in the back, he's crashing a little bit. There's a huge wreck in the back straight.
Yeah, Danny Vassell involved in that one in the 97, along with Clint Smith. So, watch the drivers. The opening lap will belong to Vince Romeo. And you go back to Joshua Walton sliding Caden Brown. Caden Brown trying to turn it back underneath him. The real-life Australian champ in the midgets. Now here comes Hodgson from the back of the bus to position 4, if you don't mind, in one lap. Robert Northway in the 45 upside down. And, well, that's going to move some more drivers into that top 5 position. Mitchell G now holding down that 5th spot on the racetrack. He's going to be 1 spot out of a transfer at the moment. He's going to get by Aaron Hodgson, Caden Brown, Vince Romeo, or Joshua Walton. Meanwhile, Walton to the race lead into turn number 3 and 4.
Yeah, I'll go back to what I said before. I haven't noticed Harry Edwards actually quit the server after he thought after he crashed, so he wasn't even in this race to begin with. My bad on that one. But as we go back, Aaron Hodgson's done great again. Look, in 2-3 laps straight, he's just gone from 14th to 4th, and he's on the tail. It looks like he might even push for 3rd or 2nd, or if he keeps this pace up, Brett, he'll be going for 1st and snatching it off Josh Bolton for a better grid in the A main.
Well, each car that he passes inside of this top 4 is one less car that he has to pass essentially in the A main. We've still got 15 and a half laps and not even 5 laps complete at Hodgson. He has worked his way from the, I believe, from the back of the C main all the way to the front of the B. Brown now putting a slider on Romeo. Romeo under pressure now to hang on to 4th. Brown, Romeo, they rub wheels down the front straight away. I think Romeo is going to be left for dead here right now because Mitchell G is coming in the Titan Garage's number 21 machine. And I dare say that, well, over the next couple of laps, you're going to see that 21 go by of that 077 of Vince Romeo.
Yeah, Vince Romeo is in trouble as we go across the line once more, heading into lap 7. Josh Walton and Aaron Hodgson's made his way into 2nd. There's a big fire. Vince Romeo's just losing that position 4 spot as he gets pretty close to Mitchell G down the back straight. And Mitchell G throws it very hard into 3, and that's a seriously good slider. It stopped Vince Romeo in his tracks, and hopefully from here Mitchell G will be thinking that he can run away and secure that feature spot for the grid 24. But if we look back through the field, Mark Raudine's actually done a very good job in that position 6. He's been away from iRacing for about 3 or 4 months because of some technical difficulties, such as not having pedals mounted to his rig and sorting out his sim vibe. So he's done a seriously good job on his first night back. Yeah,
certainly making a name for himself again. Of course, running that double zero car. He's sitting 6th inside of a good quality field of B main drivers. We go back towards the front of the field, and I'll tell you what, it's now less than 0.3 of a second, I'm going to say, at the start-finish line. In fact, we're looking at about half a second between Walton and Hodgson. And Hodgson is coming. He's still got over half the race to go. I dare say that we are going to have a battle for the race lead in the next 2 or 3 laps.
Yeah, they're all working that bottom line, especially Joshua Walton. I was just looking in his cockpit just before. He's not even full throttle down the straights, and he's seriously just off the gas, trying to get as much traction as he can on that inside line. He did go a little bit wide there, but he's running a seriously good line, and it's nothing to cough at. He's done a really good job, Brett. Well,
a bit of contact for 3rd and 4th here as G gives a bit of a don't argue to Caden Brown. They both got off the gas substantially right now, but of course they're about nearly 2 seconds ahead of the 5th place runner of Vince Romeo. So Mitchell G now moves into position 3. Caden Brown a little bit squirrely down the straightaway. That car got tight, loose, tight, and well, he gathered it back under control right now as we've got 8 laps to go. Your race leader Joshua Walton Second in the 48, Aaron Hodgson, Mitchell G, and Caden Brown. What a stout field, no matter what 4 drivers finish this B main in the top 4 spots. The 24 cars we're going to have for the feature event, it is just going to be an all-out brawl, and it should be an epic race.
Yeah, and if we actually want to look at the number 5 of Sean Wilson, now he's in 10th. If for some reason he's literally off the throttle on the inside of the track, and I'm almost picking that's a points run, or he's forgot to fuel his car or something like that, because I don't really know why he's doing that, but that's an interesting tactic. Whatever he's doing, Brett. If we look back through the field now, Josh Walton, Aaron Hodgson, Mitchell G and Caden Brown currently securing your top 4 spots, with a nice little gap behind. Mark Raudine's actually moved his way into 5th place from grid 11 in the B main. He's just past the pole sitter, Vince Romeo, who's been heavily shuffled down. Cam Taylor, Matt Reed, Carl Hoffmans and Sean Wilson rounding out you guys on track currently.
Yeah, just watching that last lap in 1 and 2, Hodgson drove it in deep into 1 and 2, sort of worked to the outside of the racetrack and then went back down low. He was almost 3/10 quicker than Walton. Now, admittedly, Walton got the inside berm on the exit of turn number 4. Hodgson, he's going to go back up top again to see if he can't hit that cushion, drive it back down the racetrack, gets the inside berm, and he's hit, well, he's at the outside cushion, he's hit the inside berm, he slides through the middle of 1 and 2, 4 to go right now. Looking at the lap times, he was a tenth and a half slower than Joshua Walton, but he's going to get a run going into 3 and 4. I think he carried too much speed, and he just slid up out of that groove on the bottom side of the racetrack. 3 laps to go. Walton, Hodgson, G, Brown, and I must say, Mark Riordan is coming right now in the 00. He was about 1.8 seconds behind. Now it's down to 1.6. We'll see what it is at the line. It's still about 1.6 seconds. So he is certainly making a charge for that 4th and final transfer spot.
Yeah, you're almost hoping that one of these top 4 guys, Brett, make a slight little mistake, and it'll be a little fairy tale if Mark can make his way through. He's only 1.1 second now. He's actually coming pretty nicely. Aaron Hodgson's putting some more pressure on to Joshua Walton with a big door. Oh, there it is. Joshua Walton's just been spun around, and there's more carnage. As he gets spun, he'll get going again, and Mark Riordan will be licking his lips with that.
You cannot put the commentator's curse on any more people. That's twice you've done it. You hoped for a fairy tale off at turn 2. The battle is on. Radio back to the outside. 3 wide. Oh, Riordan with a big don't argue on Walton. Vince Romeo with a stroke of luck. He grabs 4th. 3rd goes to Caden Brown. Mitchell G home in 2nd. And how about that 48 of Aaron Hodgson from the back to the front? Man, I can't wait for this A-main. How far will Hodgson go?
Yeah, look, that was serious commentator's curse. My hands up for that one. Joshua Walton, sorry, mate. But that was so close. That was honestly really close, and that's a really good drive from Mark Raudan to get to.
All right, let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion starting grid for tonight's 35-lap main events. Starting on pole in the TTL front row, in car number 9, Joel Berkeley on the inside to his outside car 39 of Jock Goodyear. Starting position 3, the 32, David Heileman. Starting position 4, the 097 of Ben Morrison. Zachary Phelan in the 49 starts position 5. James Robbie in the 47 starts position 6. Brett Junior Morris, car 40, starts position 7. Jordan McDonnell in car 7 starts position 8. Aaron Kelly in the 18 starts position 9. Trent Gosley out of position number 10. Aaron Humble in the 46 out of position 11. Brayton Davis in the 24 out of position 12. Murray Howe in the 10 out of position 13. Daniel Hardigan in the 77 starts position 14. Bailey Clive, the 44, will start position 15, starting position 16, the 28 of Milton Curtis. Ben McSweeney in the 19 starts position 17. Cody O'Connell in the 51 starts position 18. Jared Steen in the 91 starts 19. Luke Sayer in the 16 will start position 20. Your B main winner, car number 48, Aaron Hodgson, starts position 21. At a position 22, it's the 21 of Mitchell G. And your final row, Caden Brown on the inside. Car number 1 out of position 23. And Vince Romeo in the 077 out of position number 24. David Sanford, 35 laps on the board. Pick a winner. Go.
Joel Berkeley.
Oh, he's gone, the big elephant in the room. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go Jock Goodyear just to make it a battle of the TTL Esports cars. Of course, we'll chat to our top 3 after this one. But first, we have 35 laps on the board. Night number 1 of the Dirt League's Australia Midget Speed Week. Here in the sprint car capital of the world. The Ford Mustang pace car about to take the left-hand turn onto pit road. We wait on the virtual Doug Clark. We wait for the green flag. Drivers getting antsy. Green flag is out. 24 of the best. 35 laps on the board. And we are 4 wide already into turn number 1 and 2. McDonnell, Robbie, Morrison. And I'm not sure, it might have been Phelan as well up the inside. But what a race so far to start turns 1 and 2 into 3 and 4. We continue to go 2, 3, nearly 4 wide again off of turn number 4. Lap 1 belongs to Joel Berkeley. Jock Goodyear second, David Heilemann, McDonnell sliding into 4th. Oh no, we got a car upside down. It's the 097 of Ben Morrison. Oh, upside down on lap number 2. Let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion instant replay. What an epic start to the race. 2, 3, 4 wide. Watch the 097 up the top side. He just got a little out of shape. He jumped off the cushion, came back down. He sort of went to get back up towards the cushion. And unfortunately, James Robbie just hit him square in the right rear. And unfortunately, Ben Morrison goes for a little bit of a ride, ending upside down. He's not a good start to Ben Morrison. Mitchell G back on pit road as well, so we've already lost. And in fact, there's Daniel Hardigan gone as well, so 3 cars in the opening lap. Not a good start for, you know, the likes of Morrison or G, but man, David, 4 wide on the opening lap. Just unbelievable.
Yeah, with money on the line, people just obviously they do drive cleanly, but they do put their elbows up and they do send things 4 wide. It's really unfortunate that Ben got a bit oversteery on the entry of 1 and 2, and unfortunately was collected pretty heavily and had a really good tumble. Now, I'd just like to mention Joel Berkeley had checked out. Honestly, he was absolutely flying. He'd already pulled about 0.7 of a second in 1 lap, and I'd just like to mention in regards to TTL on the road side of thing, congrats to Jackson Susan Harlow for his recent pickup today. That's a very good pickup by TTL, especially since they just lost Josh Rogers.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't, want to be rude or anything, but I have no idea who that guy is. I'm not a road guy by any stretch of the imagination. But hey, I'm sure if you say it's a good pickup, we're gonna roll with it. Asphalt's for getting to the racetrack. Dirt's for racing. That's somewhat all around here, buddy.
Yeah, no worries. I'm a road racer by trade, Brett. That's all right.
Oh, we're going back to green flag this time right now. So we got 30 on the board. So let's hopefully we can get dirty for 30. As the single file restarts, top 3 go straight to the top side of the cushion. As here comes McDonnell working down low. Then, of course, you got Zach Phelan and Brett Jr. Morris side by side. Now you throw in Aaron Humble as well. 3 wide, McDonnell trying to put a slider on Heilemann for 3rd. Humble using that inside berm to full effect. He's going to lose 2 spots as Brayton Davison. He's now going to work his way through the middle of turns 1 and 2. Down past the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum. 2 wide, Phelan and Davison. Then, of course, right in front of them on the inside in that 40 machine, Heilemann out of shape in 3 and 4. Not sure if you got a bit of a helping hand from the 7 of McDonnell, but they go 3 wide off the exit of turn number 4. And I tell you what, Jock Goodyear has put that 39 to the top side of the racetrack. 0.8 of a second. 3 wide again, Phelan. Oh, yellow, Phelan, McDonnell and Morris. These drivers are not afraid to go 3 wide.
And unfortunately, that looks to be Aaron Hodgson that's put it in.
All right, let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion instant
No,
replay.
it's not. Is it? He must have caused the yellow, mate. But
we're just going to have a look at the Wicked Cushion instant replay. He put a slider on the 18 machine, and he had contact with Jared Steen. So the 16 car of Sayer, I believe that is. Yeah, Luke Sayer in the 16, and there was a contact just into 1 and 2. And unfortunately, Steen went around. Well, Steen done nothing wrong. He was running his line, and unfortunately, when these cars hit each other, they kind of, you know, but it's weird because when you hit someone, you actually get a little bit of a speed boost, and, well, it can only end badly for the car in front.
Yeah, and it just, the standings right now of this feature actually throws sound to how quality this field is. Now, Jared Steen is a top 5 runner in ASL. I will say that in the midget. He is a top 5 runner in the ASL leagues. You'll always see him near the front of a feature, and currently he sits literally second to last in the feature, and it just shows how hard this group of drivers, you know, it would be to race in this feature. So we're in for a seriously good rest of the laps. It's about 25 to go.
Yeah, 25 at the moment, of course. We'll take one lap off right now because we are going to go green flag this time by. So when they get on the gas and they come off at turn 4, just see how big that cushion was. You see Berkeley just drive up that cushion, and it almost looked like he was trying to pull a Logan Sevian right up the wall along the fence and come back down the racetrack. So, look, 24 to go, 11 complete. Unfortunately, yellow laps count towards the feature total of number of laps, but hey, we can only do on what we've been given here on the sim service. Green flag back out on the racetrack. Joel Berkeley, Jock Goodyear, and David Heilemann run 1, 2, and 3. At the moment, Berkeley with a slide job line on himself. He's going to pull away as here comes David Heilemann looking to the inside on Jock Goodyear in turns 1 and 2. They race side by side down the back straightaway, top bottom. McDonnell sliding from the middle to the top of the racetrack, trying to run that cushion and get the right rear on the cushion and try and gain as many spots or as much speed as he can. He'll do the same in 1 and 2. Goodyear got a little tight there in 1 and 2 on that cushion. That cushion is huge, about halfway through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, it always builds up quite high at Knoxville, especially in the middle of the course, and it's almost a cliff face. So if these guys can manage to rail that and keep the hammer down all the way through, I think that's the fastest line, despite Joel Berkeley seeming to check out with that slider line, and then he goes really low into 3 and 4, and he sticks there and he stays off the throttle. And another yellow, unfortunately.
All right, we're looking at the 16 of Luke Sayer. Let's take a look at your Wicked Cushion instant replay. Just see what happened to the 16 entry in that TFH entry. Of course, that Caden Brown looking at livery on his real car, transferring it over to the sim. And into 1 and 2, just got the car sideways in front of Vince Romeo. Romeo nowhere to go. And also Cody O'Connell around as well. But it's just a case of getting off the cushion. And the car gets a little loose in front of you, and then when obviously cars are behind you, they have nowhere to go. Generally it ends in a car being around or upside down. So our third caution of the night, and these cautions are obviously helping Berkeley, but they're kind of being a bit of a nuisance and a pain in the backside, because just when you think, you know, you got a 7/10 or an 8/10 of a second lead, it goes back down to 0 and you got to do it all again.
Yeah, as a dirt driver, that is seriously the most annoying thing when you're having a good race. I remember at Charlotte a season ago, I was about 3 seconds ahead of Lewis Hewitt, and a yellow came out with 4 to go, and he pipped me on the last corner due to that yellow flag on the green-white checkers, and that was it's pretty gutting. And even though Joel Berkeley seems to have pace over everyone right now, the more these quick guys run through the field, we look back and we've got Brayton Davison moving through to 7th. Brett Junior Morris is still there, Zachary Phelan, Jordan McDonnell, Heilemann's no slouch. All of these guys can take Joel Berkeley out if these yellow flags keep happening.
All right, the lights out on the pace track. It'll be 17 complete with 18 to go. So we are at the halfway stage of tonight's race. The field will pace down the back straight away. Night number 1 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Midget Speedweek. Presented by Alpha Finance. David Sanford in the booth with me, myself, Brett Wheeler. We're getting set to go. Green flag off a turn number 4. And, well, as he's done so all night, he's had a clean set of heels at the moment. Joel Berkeley leads Jock Goodyear. David Heilemann to the top side. Here comes McDonnell up the inside. As we watch Brett Junior Morris and Zachary Phelan go side by side, but we'll keep an eye on McDonnell and Heilemann 3 wide into turns number 3 and 4. As they race for 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Heilemann now going to pick up position number 2. Goodyear back to position 3, and it could be as worse as position 4 in a minute because McDonnell puts a slider on Goodyear, and Goodyear going to try and turn it back underneath him, but McDonnell, he's got the run through the middle of the racetrack. McDonnell picks up position 3.
Yeah, so what's actually happening is Jock Goodyear is trying to run the high line, and he can't actually get off the high line because you have to be on rails. You can't turn away from that high line once you're there. So that slide job by McDonnell pretty much trapped Jock Goodyear on that high line, and he's just secured 3rd place as they cross the line, and now he looks to be chasing down Heilemann. And there's another yellow flag, unfortunately, on the race.
Yeah, McDonnell was going for the slider. So as it stands, Australia 1, USA 2. New Zealand 3, and well, we've got the 3 countries represented here tonight, and they've each got a place on the podium. Not sure who that was, not sure if you caught that or not, who that might have been. Maybe the 4 of Trent Gosley?
Yeah, Trent Gosley's gone back to the pit spread, so I think it was him if we go to the position read.
Yeah, just trying to look back a little bit further. Yeah, there it is. In fact, just catching the end of it, he went up and over all by his lonesome. It's a case of riding that cushion, and the cushion being so big, especially on these smaller cars, he kind of jumped the cushion, and well, that was about the end of Trent Gosley. So fortunately, Gosley gonna finish up here tonight on his lid, but gonna be credited with a 20th place finish. Not a bad night for that number 4 machine, considering that you know, we had 50 cars in the server. We maxed the server out inside of the first sort of 5 to 10 minutes, and we advanced. We started 15 minutes early, but man, I tell you what, there's been no shortage of action on the racetrack.
Yeah, tonight's been a seriously good night for racing. Going back to how Trent Gosley actually got stuck in there. Now, when I racing on the cushion, it's not actually up to the wall like you see in real life. So it kind of peaks and it goes back down, and it's sort of a mountain, and it goes back down on a descend into the wall. So what had happened is Trent put his right rear inside that, and it was good night, sleep tight for Trent Gosley, and that's his feature over. Jordan McDonnell's having a pretty good run. I think he's found his pace. Now, he's hot on the heels of Heilemann. He's going to put that NZ car in 2nd, I believe, very shortly, and hopefully start chasing down Joel Berkeley in his books.
Well, he's got Jock Goodyear and Brett Junior Morris behind him in 4th and 5th. Zach Phelan, Aaron Humble, Brayton Davis, and James Robbie and Bailey Clive inside of the top 10. So a good night for the 44 machine. At the moment, we'll see if we can keep it there with 12 laps to go. So we're almost about a heat race distance left from finishing this one. McDonnell got a great start and moved straight up to the inside. Put the slider on Heilemann into turn number 1 and 2. Put Jordan McDonnell to position 2. Heilemann, oh no, there's some cars in the back, in the middle of the pack. Around, I think Phelan is one of those cars maybe. No, he's still on the racetrack trying to find out. It might have been Bailey Clive in the 44. Who got shuffled back big time. He's going to go back to position 19, I should say. And now McDonnell, the closest car that has been able to try and mount a charge toward your race leader, as we've got 10 laps to go. And McDonnell, here comes the 7.
Yeah, the Jordan McDonnell's hot on the heels of Joel Berkeley. We'll just go back to what had happened before. Now, Aaron Humble was trying to squeeze it up the inside of Brett Junior Morris, and it just did not work. He got up on the berm, he pushed everyone back, and as you know, in iRacing, nose to tail, and bad things happen, and Bailey Clives unfortunately fell out to the back. If we flip back to the front, Jordan McDonnell's trying to run the slider line on both sides of the corners, and he actually looks to have a little bit better lap pace than Joel Berkeley. Joel Berkeley should start worrying. I know a lot of these guys don't run mirrors in iRacing to sort of simulate real life, but you can hear engines behind you. He'll know that Jordan McDonnell's right there if he's running his relative and things like that. So these guys are seriously flying, and they have checked out from the field.
Well, lap times in the 21.1s, 21.2s. McDonnell, the fastest car on the racetrack right now. And he is coming at a rate of knots through turns 1 and 2. We go. 8 to go. He smacks the cushion in the middle of 1 and 2. That allows Berkeley just to slightly pull away from him. Caution flag flies. Oh boy. We've got Bailey Clive in the 19. We'll take a look at your wicked cushion instant replay on that one. In fact, Bailey Clive was sort of the... Well, he was one of the last cars in as we watch In fact, I believe it might have been Aaron Humble there. Got into the side of Hodgson, and then Brayton Davison turned around. He was upside down on the cushion. Then in comes Bailey Clive and Luke Sabre. The caution flag had already been thrown. What that's going to do right now, as you come back to live pictures from the Knoxville Raceway, Berkeley, McDonnell, those two drivers had cleared out somewhat. Goodyear now finds himself back into position number 3. How does Jordan McDonnell, how does he win this race? How does he pass Berkeley?
He needs a good of his run as he got on David Heilemann before. I think that's how he's going to do it. I believe he's got the pace to do it. Joel Berkeley, as you know, he's always in that podium spot, and we'll probably be speaking to him after the race. But I don't even know how he's going to do it, because his teammates will be talking to him in his ear saying, look, this is what Jordan's doing. Those TTL boys are pretty tight. They like each other, as you know. So it's hard to say how Jordan's going to do it, and he's going to have to pull something out of the hat here.
All right, so we're looking at the lights on the Ford Mustang pace car. They have turned off, and we'll have 4 laps to go. Of course, it is the point of no return when we get the green flag. If the caution flag comes out from here on in, it will end the race under and behind that Ford Mustang pace vehicle. Joel Berkeley, your race leader. Jordan McDonnell, 2nd. Jock Goodyear, 3rd. David Heilemann, 4th. And Brett Jr. Morris rounds out the top 5. It is all or nothing right now for McDonnell and Berkeley. They've certainly been the 2 form drivers in this feature race. Green flag is out, and oh, Goodyear got a great start, but he had to get off the gas, because had he had passed McDonnell on the low side, there could have been a penalty incoming.
Yeah, that was a very bad start from McDonnell. I don't think he expected Joel to start like that, because Joel just randomly turned in the middle of the corner, and he turned down and he's gone, and Jordan sort of got on the gas as soon as he could, and it's buzzed the tyres, and now Jock's just passed him. He's done a very good slide job, and he will secure that as we cross the line, and he goes to the outside as he has to. Jordan McDonnell throws it back, and Brett Jr. Morris has managed to pass David Heilemann for 4th place, who's got 2 2 New Zealand boys driving in behind him, and Ben McSweeney and Harry Edwards, I believe, or Murray Howell, sorry.
All right, looking at Jock Goodyear there, rail the cushion in turns 3 and 4. As he goes to the top side in 1 and 2. Slider line. And here comes the slider from Brett Jr. Morris on Goodyear. Goodyear turns it underneath him right now. 1.5 to go. Another slider on the exit of turn 2 from Goodyear on Morris. Morris going to dive it down low. Here comes McDonnell. He gets the cushion in 3 and 4. The white flag is out. One more time around the Knoxville Raceway for Joel Berkeley. Can he get it done? Night number 1 of the Dirt League's Australia Midget Speedweek, presented by Alpha Finance, down the back straightaway for the final time here at the Knoxville Raceway. McDonnell throws it in one last time. Morris and Goodyear make contact, and Berkeley gonna get the win. Joel Berkeley takes night number 1 by 0.196, less than 0.2 of a second. I say give us another 2 laps, and we may have just been talking to Jordan McDonnell. A great run by the driver of that number 7 machine. But well done to Joel Berkeley, Jordan McDonnell, and Brett Jr. Morris. Rounds out the podium, of course. Let's quickly take a look at your Hazard Media finishing results and wrap this one up before we get to chat to our top 3 drivers. So getting the win in car number 9 and leading all 35 laps, it has been a clean sweep from Joel Berkeley. He picked up the fastest qualifier. He led every lap in his heat race and now leads all 35 laps here in the main event to get the win. Second will go to Jordan McDonnell. Brett Jr. Morris in 3rd. And how about McDonnell? Went from 8th to 2nd. Brett Jr. Morris from 7th to 3rd. David Heilemann comes home in 4th. Zachary Phelan 5th. Jock Goodyear still picks up a 6th spot. Murray Howell from 13th to position 7. Aaron Humble finishes in 8th. James Robbie unfortunately went backwards in that one. I'm surprised at that one. He comes home in 9th. Ben McSweeney from 17th. He grabs himself a top 10. If you look over to page number 2, Brayton Davison home in 11th. 12th was Milt Curtis. Vince Romeo, 24th to 13th. Certainly tonight's hard charger award, Bailey Clive, home in 14th. 15th was Caden Brown, also picking up 8 spots from 23rd. Aaron Kelly home in 16th, Aaron Hodgson 17th, Luke Sayer 18th, Jared Steen 19th, 20th was Trent Gosley. And the final 4 drivers, Cody O'Connell in 21st, Ben Morrison, Mitchell G and Daniel Hardigan. Wow, let's, as I try and catch a breath, let's try and dissect that one just quickly. I mean, what a run, what a track. Just what a night to start off this speed week. Surely it's only going to get better.
Yeah, Knoxville's not the best. Now, Knoxville's not the best track for midgets, but that was seriously some good racing. These guys were working every single line all night. The track was perfect. That cushion wasn't. I mean, we're not on track, obviously, but that cushion wasn't as treacherous as we usually see it. Brett Junior Morris did well to get into that 3rd position on the last corner of the race, and McDonnell had some serious pace coming from P8, and he's done awesome to get into that 2nd podium spot. And my pick to win the race, Joel Berkeley, I'd like to point that out, has managed to come on that top step. It was awesome racing, and I hope all the drivers enjoyed it tonight.
Well, I mean, you know, you ruined 3 other people's race in the process to get that win, but hey, you know, you take what you can get, really.
Yeah, exactly. So Zachary Fallon has done awesome. He's stuck where he started. He's in P5, and Brayton Davison will be a little bit annoyed when he got tangled up with Aaron Humble and Aaron Hodgson, because I believe he actually had top 3 pace, but he was just stuck behind a few drivers.
All right, well, let me tell you what, are you confident in doing an interview?
Yeah, sure, why not? Let's bring them in, mate.
All right, well, let's go to the 3rd place finishing out tonight. We'll drag up Brett Junior Morris and we'll send it over to David Sanford, who's standing by with position 3.
Hey Brett, nice racing tonight in the feature, mate. That was a pretty good pass in that last corner.
Oh well, yeah, it wasn't the best one. And you can't really rub wheels with people in iRacing because it just kind of spins them out. But you know, sorry to Jock, I got a bit greedy there, and you know, I don't really deserve to be on the podium. He does, but hey, that's part of it, I guess. So yeah, sorry to Jock Goodyear for sending it up the inside of him, but yeah, it was a good race. It was really hard to pass. The track was pretty treacherous. You know, it's always fun having a real track like that because you can just run the bottom or rip the top if you want to. And you know, the top was pretty treacherous, so you know, you probably end up killing myself up there. So I ran the bottom the whole race and then slide a line towards the end, and yeah, managed to slip away with P3.
Yeah, you did seriously good to come from 7th to 3rd. You had some pretty good pace at the end of the race, while obviously Jordan and Joel checked out a little bit there. Do you have anyone you want to thank tonight?
Oh, obviously, everyone from Central Sim Racing, they've put together a good team. You know, Hayden Warrington and Matthew McCutcheon and all that. So yeah, and obviously Brett and you for commentating tonight, and Jordan and Alpha Finance were sponsoring. It's going to be a fun week, obviously, so should be some good racing.
Yeah, thanks for coming. I won't be commentating tomorrow night. I'll have my rig set up, so you'll have to beat me in the top spot.
All right, there we go. It's Brett Junior Morris home in 3rd. We're going to scoot down the line. He had a crack at your eventual race winner in the last couple of laps, but home in 2nd is Jordan McDonnell. Jordan, first of all, congratulations on finishing 2nd. You started 8th. You made your way forward fairly quickly, and you had pretty much a great battle throughout that entire feature race. Talk us through that race.
Yeah, thanks, Brett. Yeah, it was definitely an action-packed race for me. I got a pretty good start, I thought, and it was just eyes forward basically from the get-go. I knew I had good pace. I just basically had to try and get some clear air. It was pretty difficult for the first half of the race sitting behind 32 at David. He just had that bottom hooked up, and I was just the line that I was trying to throw, which is like the slider line. Every time I went to try and make a move on him, I was just so cautious of trying to hit him. And yeah, it held me back a little bit. But once I got past him on that, I think it was like 3rd to last restart or whatever it was was just eyes forward onto Joel. And I think just ran out of laps in the end there. I think I could have had him, but, you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Yeah, you certainly got to. Once you got past Heinemann on that restart, once as you said, you sort of set your eyes on Berkeley, and you guys were actually doing similar sort of lap times, both running that slider line. Did it at that stage then? I think it was about sort of 10 or 12 to go. Did you think that you might have tried something different, or were you just happy trying to run that slider line, or how were you going to attempt to get by Berkeley before that yellow had come out?
Well, I was kind of paying attention to how much I was gaining on the exit of 3 and 4, and I think where he was running a bottom for most of the race, and 1 and 2 we were both running a slider line, which was pretty even, and then out of 3 and 4, I think I was just getting a lot better drive. I think possibly if I had got a better run, I think the second last lap I made a mistake and almost parked it in the fence, but I think if I had got a better run there, it would have been a lot closer, I think, at the end, because the run I was getting out of 3 and 4 was definitely on. I suppose he had 1 and 2 covered pretty well, so it was a matter of kind of drag racing across the line to see who gets it, I suppose.
All right, what was going through your mind on that final restart? There was 4 laps to go. Berkeley went a little earlier. He kind of just sort of turned it hard left and took off. You didn't get a good restart, and then I think you almost fell back to 4th at one stage, even 3rd. You had to get by Goodyear, and you done that in 2 laps, and you only left yourself 2 laps to get to the back of that 9 machine, but time just ran out. If you had, say, 2 more laps, do you think that you might have been up 1 step on the podium?
Possibly. I mean, Joel's, world-class driver on iRacing, and even in real life, he's a great peddler. So it would have been close. I think it could have been a very spicy ending. I'm not 100% sure if I would have got past him or not, because the track was pretty tough. There was only you were either on the bottom or you were throwing the slider line, I think, which was I was doing. So I don't know. I definitely had the pace, I think, to get by him. It was just a matter of if I could get by him. He's world-class, so he's not going to make it easy for me.
All right, well, look, you drive from 8th to 2nd in a phenomenal race and a phenomenal night, to wrap up night number 1 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Midget Speedweek. Before we let you get out of your sponsor shout-outs, who makes it all happen for you?
Big thanks to the boys at One Performance Racing, Night Rider Design, Shepherd's Automotive, Euroz Driver Performance, Seals Winslow, for all their support for me and the team. Big thanks to Zach for being the engineer on the car. Setup's just mint. Obviously, it was on rails tonight, and it would have been nice to get one more up the top onto the top step, but we'll take away second. So big thanks to the guys at One Performance Racing. Big thanks to Brett. Big thanks to David at Alpha Finance for supporting the series, and can't wait for tomorrow night. And yeah, I think it's going to be an exciting week just on how competitive the racing is.
All right, there we go. Jordan McDonnell now home in 2nd place, and we're going to scoot on, and we're going to step up onto the top step of the podium. He takes out night number 1 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Speed Week Championship here at the Knoxville Raceway. Joel Berkeley, you said it last night. You said you were here to win. You weren't here to muck around. You wanted to win everything. You've started off the week in perfect form, quick time in qualifying, and you lead 45 from 45 laps. It must be an awesome feeling right now.
Yeah, I can't complain, I guess, can I?
Well, if you do, you certainly got rocks in your head. But hey, talk about that race at the start there. You sort of checked away from Jock, but the yellows kept coming out, and it bunched the field back up. And just as you sort of get to a second lead, it just seems that the yellows come out at the wrong time.
Yeah. I was just trying to do my thing because did some testing last night and all that, and from the track we got tonight to what we had last night was nowhere near what we had tonight. So I cast it up to run the top, but yeah, end up just making it work, do what we need to do, roll the bottom and throw the side on. And that Logan CV burnout turn 2 was pretty scary.
I did say that under that yellow, you were trying to pull a Logan CV. You almost drove up the wall there at one stage in that yellow. But you talk about the testing last night and how the different tracks where you said you had a car set up to run the top. How do you make those adjustments to run that slide line like you did tonight and make it work?
I guess you just off the throttle a little bit more on entry then, because obviously when you're on the top yourself a little bit looser than you usually are on the bottom, and to go through the slick you got to be off the throttle. So yeah, a bit more throttle control to get through the slider line. Then we'll have to be off a fair bit in 3 and 4 just to be able to hold that bottom. But that bottom went away pretty bad there the last 10 laps in 3 and 4. I was just trying to hold on at the end then do what I need to do.
changing up your restarts? You're going sort of in the middle of 3 and 4, or a little bit later than that. You know, of course, that final restart with 4 to go, McDonnell was hot on your heels. How crucial was it to get that good restart on that final restart, knowing that you had a fast 7 following in behind your tracks?
Yeah, no doubt Jordan was fast there tonight. He was coming there those last few laps, and we had that yellow. Just try and do something a little bit different. And biggest thing was trying to get a good start and cover the line into turn 1. Because the way I was seeing, if I covered my line into turn 1, he wasn't going to be able to drive around me by the time I slid up. And then 3 and 4, it would have been a bit difficult to pass me on the top into 1 and 2. So I was just trying to do what I need to do, hold the line, and go forward and see where we ended up. And ended up all right there.
You certainly got the good restart on that final restart with 4 to go, but just to give you sort of an indication on the last lap, your last lap was a 21.455. McDonnell ran a 21.0. That actually happened to be his fastest lap, so you certainly had your work cut out for you. You hung on, I should say, in those final couple of laps, and you get the win. So congratulations on picking up night 1 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Midget Speedweek here at the Knoxville Raceway. Before we let you get out of here, I'm sure there's a whole bunch of people you need to thank.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to lie. Our turn 4, I was flat on trying to spin the tyres a little bit. But yeah, most thanks to the guys at TTO East. Without all them, it wouldn't be possible. Ashmere Speedway footage, Hyper Simulator, Ultimate Dirt TV, Highline Motorsports, Ashmere Speedway footage, and HTS and everyone else helps out, and the teammates and everything like that.
All right, there we go. Joel Berkeley home with the win in night number 1. David Sanford. It was a great night to start off the Speed Week. Of course, you missed out on you wanted to give everyone a chance at the Speed Week. Let's be honest, we all know that you were you're going to wheel your machine to the front. And look, it's been nice having you in the booth. So thank you very much. But before we let you get out of here, final thoughts, and why don't you go plug the sponsors as well?
Yeah, look, no, I had pretty fun commentating tonight. The racing was awesome. Obviously, I'm pretty new to commentating. I've actually never done it before, but the racing was awesome, and it made it easy to commentate as far as everything goes. The Speedweek's going to be awesome. We've got 4 more nights. We go to Lanninger tomorrow night. Lanninger's got a perfect top line track. Like, it is probably one of the best tracks for dirt on iRacing. In terms of sponsors, obviously, myself, you for doing the commentary and things like that. If I'm going to plug my own team, it would be a bit silly because I haven't even raced yet. But everyone else involved, Zach and Jordan, and all the races that turned up tonight. Thanks heaps. It's been a really good night. Cheers.
All right, we certainly thank you, David, for not only the sponsorship of the week to help put this Midget Speed Week on, but of course, thank you for joining me in the booth here tonight. Of course, a big thanks to our sponsors here at Ultimate Dirt TV. We've got Wicked Cushion, Simworks Performance, BK Designs, and Hazza Media. Make sure you check them out on the social media pages. Give them a like, give them a follow, and all that good stuff. We've been live on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube, so make sure you hit the like and follow button on our pages. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can rewatch them. Rewatch them back as soon as we shut the streams down. You can give it about 2 to 5 minutes just to process on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitch, and whatever you want to watch it on. And well done to our top 3, Joel Berkeley, Jordan McDonnell, and Brett Jr. Morris. On behalf of David Sanford and the entire team here at Ultimate Dirt TV, it's Brett Wheeler signing off. So we'll see you tomorrow night at Lanier National Speedway for night 2 of the Dirt Leagues Australia Midget Speedweek. Good night.